off the chair.
Hey. Well, Here we are. We are live on a Sunday afternoon. Sunday evening, I suppose it is now. Sunday afternoon for you, Sunday evening for me. With Graham Bonnet and the lovely Bethany. Here, my bass buddy. Here we are, hanging out on Hammerway on a Sunday. This is a different time frame for us, and that's okay, because we love to do this whenever we can. So this opportunity came up, and I contacted them. They contacted me back. How about tomorrow? I said, that sounds beautiful. And like two great bass players, we worked this out, right? To be at this time. I was like, that's exactly what I was thinking. So here we are. Hello, Graham Bonnet.
Hello. Yes, I'm here.
And the amazing, am I saying that right, Bethany?
Bethany, yeah.
Yeah. And the amazing bass player, Bethany, from the band, the Graham Bonnet Band. So what is going on today? What's the weather like out there in LA?
It's quite nice, actually.
It is, yeah. It's quite warm, but in the shade, it's fucking freezing.
No, that's I wouldn't say it's freezing. It's a little chilly when the sun goes in, but it'll be really cold tonight. In the morning, oh my God.
Now, what is cold to you?
Well, in LA, you could have, in the daytime, it can reach, 75, 80 degrees, but at night it drops down to 45, and that's cold.
Wow. Like on the reg?
This time of year through March.
This time of year especially,
Yeah.
Yeah. I always get a kick out of it when we go to visit Florida, and then it's like 65 degrees, and I got my windows down, and there are people with coats on who are native to that area.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, hey, who's our pup?
This is Lucy.
Lucy's on camera. This is Lucy, the wonder dog.
That's great. We just had Denny, and his pup was on the other day. Denny from The Great Affairs. And and he had his pup on the other day. So I was like, that's awesome. I love having the dogs on. I've got a dog myself, and I love the dogs, and I love cats.
Yeah. Well, we have one of those too, and a couple of chickens.
Well, when do the chickens come on then?
Outside.
Well, they're in the coop. They used to be free in the yard, but this huge hawk got one day, and I managed to rescue her before it killed her.
Yeah.
And she just was, featherless on one side for a while, but I had to put a 10 by 20 cage around the coop, and so they're not free anymore.
And you can always give it a tattoo, and then it's kind of like a punk chicken.
Yep.
Prison chicken.
That's beautiful. I love it. I love that, like a kick-ass chicken, man. That's just put some weights out there in the yard and let it go to town. There'll be no hawks, and you can't really blame the hawks. They're just hunting.
Yeah.
I was pissed. I fortunately was just sitting. We have French doors in the bedroom, and I was sitting on the bed, and we heard thump, and it was just raining feathers. And I whipped the door open, and this thing, it had like a 6-foot wingspan. It was like a condor. It was huge. And it looked at me, and it didn't fly away straight away. And then I came at it screaming, and then it took off, and it didn't go far. And it would circle the house for, a couple of weeks after that. I couldn't let my chickens out for a week. They were stuck in their little coop. They were all cooped up.
Did you have your t-shirt on that says "Don't mess with bass players"?
No. I need to get one of those, actually.
You need to make one. That's it. I'm going to make one.
All right, okay.
I was telling somebody yesterday about it. Even though I'm very feminine looking, and I like to think I'm ladylike.
You are.
You get a little scrappy. And when we were in Colombia, this guy, I brought my son on tour. This guy, he was really drunk, and he grabbed my kid, and I'm on stage, but I just leapt over the monitor and I kicked him. I didn't hit him hard. I just kicked him hard enough so he would let go of my kid, which he did.
Kind of like Rob Halford kicking that phone out of that guy's hand that was filming in the front row. You're like, you're in the front row.
Well, yeah, really. I mean, I'll film, but I'll hold the camera here, and I'm not watching. I'm watching with my eyes and filming with my boobs,
Yes.
Sorry.
You're thoroughly talented.
I am. So. I'm sorry. I'm stealing Graham's spotlight.
No, you're.
I don't care.
It's a team effort. That's the beauty of it.
Yeah. Hell.
Yeah, I do want to tell you that story, because we we actually yin and yang in that one
What story?
particular story, and we get to one point, and then I go, take it, and he finishes it because it's so funny.
Is it?
Bring it.
Yeah. Remember when you got canned from Michael Schenker?
Oh Christ! Everybody knows that one already.
So, do you
That's
know
an
that,
old story
do
now.
you know
isn't
that
it?
story? Do you know all the details, the intimate details?
And I want to hear that, but let me ask you this first. How long have you two been together?
We started working together a little over 10 years ago.
Wow. There you go.
Yeah. I wasn't gray back then.
I made him gray.
No, I decided that in the end, it's time to admit how old I am and not dye my hair anymore,
Right.
falling out. And, I'm 70. What am I going to be? 76?
He's going to be 76.
Yeah, I'm going to be 76.
I was going to say, yeah.
Yeah, I'm always a year behind with my age. I don't know why. But, a lot of guys are out there dyeing their hair jet black, and it looks ridiculous.
It does. It
But,
does.
why not be gray? It's the way I am. It's who I am. And my name is Gray.
I like it. I think it brings out the blue in his eyes too.
And I think it, I don't know. I mean, there's various reasons as to why you do it or why you don't do it. But, I think personally, I would never do it. I'm a ginger, but it doesn't show much anymore. I'm one white and, whatnot, but 10 years. And now let's hear the story.
What story?
Well, I mean, it's
Well,
it's just an aspect to the story. So, I mean, he usually tells the lead up to the part that I like. But it was the first time he played with Michael Schenker, and they were at the University of Sheffield or something, and he had to learn Gary's first two albums, as well as he had just written Assault Attack, and he had all his notes spread across the stage, and he got very upset. I think it was mostly because he was shit-faced. He was very inebriated. He'd been at the pub. I think he ran out of money, and he came back to get his jacket out of the dressing room, and Michael had the door locked and wouldn't let him in. But he found people to buy more drinks for him, so he got even more shit-faced. Anyway, when it was stage time, the crowds came in, and they pushed the monitors forward, and they compressed his notes, and he just lost his mind. He was so mad. He was like flipping off the audience and stuff. But apparently, was it the day before or that day that you had the jeans made, the custom jeans?
All right, the day before-ish.
So he had a pair of custom jeans made.
Made in 1 hour.
Yeah.
Oxford Street, London.
And
wow.
They were really chintzy. And was it the first song, or when did it happen?
Oh, I don't know. First or second, it was pretty much the first.
Who counts when you're having that issue?
Yeah, it was.
Well, the zipper, the piece where the zipper aligned with it just ripped, and out came tumbling little Graham.
Yeah.
And that's a misnomer, by the way.
I was going to say, is it little big Graham? Is that what you'd say?
I'm sorry. Anyway, this is the part where I like to pass it to Graham, because he would tell the story, and and we would get to the part where it came out, and I said, "And what did you do?"
Oh, I swung it. Yeah. It was part of the act. I didn't have a microphone in my hand at that time, so I thought, well, what the hell can I do with this? And as Bethany said, all my words were pushed into a big crumbling mess all along the stage, because I had like 2 albums to sing, supposedly. But when they pushed forward, I started flipping them off and telling what a bunch of they were. It was lots of 4-letter words coming out of my mouth, because I've been drinking with the guys from Whitesnake. They were opening up, and we got really out of it. And Michael pissed me off because he wouldn't let me into the dressing room. We only had one dressing room.
Right.
My wallet was in my jacket, and he goes, "Go away, I'm sleeping." I said, "I want to get my jacket. I got to get my wallet. I've got to buy these guys a drink." They bought me a few. So, he wouldn't let me in. That really angered me. And I thought, oh, fuck it. I don't fucking care. I didn't care when I went on how shit-faced I was, how wobbly I was. I didn't care because I was so angry at him. But, I mean, I made a complete fool of myself. And I walked off stage after that. I think it was the first song, with my fucking penis hanging out while putting it back in. And, one of the crew saying, "You better get out of here, Graham. He's going to fucking kill you. The band will kill you." So I walked off stage and I got a cab back to the hotel. And next morning when I woke up, I had a call from our manager. He said, how are you, Graham? I said, I feel fucking awful. I feel so sick. I'm so hungover. And he said, well, you're in big trouble. I think the band has fired you. You're fired. I said, I'll be okay. I'll be sober. This won't happen again. And because we had a big concert coming up. I think it was in,
Reading Festival.
Yeah, Reading Festival,
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
And we were headlining. And I fucked it all up for everybody.
Yeah.
And so that was it. I was fired. I took the train to London. My manager took me to the airport and I flew back to LA. And it was just the most embarrassing time of my life, I think, because I made a complete idiot of myself. I didn't know what I was doing. I really didn't, you know.
Yeah.
And that's me. I'm not that kind of horrible, nasty, you know, that's not me. I'm a very gentle soul. I'm very hippie in that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Long hair. It's you know what?
I'm kidding.
Do you think it's just a matter of that's what the alcohol did to you that day, or yes,
absolutely. I mean, I was like, it's Jekyll and Hyde. You know, I become this lunatic who doesn't give a shit about anybody if I drink too much. You know, sometimes, not all the time. Sometimes I used to drink a lot, but be okay. You know, every night when we went on stage with Rainbow, I probably had about 4 or 5 beers, and so was everybody else. You know, so we're all kind of on the same, you know, and it made us just gave us that level of, you know, confidence, whatever. And devil may care. You can say what the hell you want to the audience and get them singing and blah blah blah. Yeah. You know, just do your bit. But you know, I haven't drunk for a long time, and this is something I have to stick with. I can't do it because it just messes me up. And
well, and you know, I mean, I would assume that it's almost like everybody's ability to handle it is maybe a little different because of the way that the chemicals run in their body into their mind and how it affects them. I mean, I'm one of those extreme, I love you, man, guys, you know, where it's like, cool, you know, but I don't drink a lot, but I do, you know, especially a lot of times when I do the show, and I don't eat a lot during the day. So when I come home from work and do a show at 3:30 and crank down a pint, it's like, by the end of the show, I'm that cool, chill kind of, this is awesome, you know, but it affects people differently.
You're not quite legless. I mean, I was legless by the time I got on stage that day. It's something that will remain in my mind forever and ever, and probably in the magazines too once in a while. I've told that story so many times, I think everybody knows it, you know.
Right.
But the jeans didn't help me any. They were very thin denim. But they were made within an hour. That was the thing about it, you know. Get your jeans made within an hour, denim jeans, you know. So it was a big mistake.
Yeah, it almost made for a great 1-hour photo for everybody else.
Yeah. Oh, bloody hell.
Occasionally,
1 hour jeans, get ready for the show. Here it comes.
1 hour jeans. Occasionally I'll meet people that go, I was at that show. I saw that happen. I'm like, oh,
bloody hell. There is a recording of it somewhere from the desk.
Is that right?
So I've never heard it. I don't want to, because it would just take me back to that time, and it was rotten. It was really,
and it's always like I say, you know, it's like it's not what you've done, it's what you do about it, right?
Yeah. So here I am, sober, you know, well, a lot better than I was then. A lot better.
And he and Michael are on very good terms now, which is important.
Yeah, we played together since, you know, we've had
yes.
2 years ago we played together, was it? 2 years ago.
You did a run for like 2 or 3 years. You did Schenkerfest. So But we played with them in Japan in like 2016 or 17. We played with Temple of Rock. And that was the first time they'd seen each other in ages. It was the first time they played together, and it was absolutely beautiful to watch. It was magical. You know,
how was that first couple of minutes when you got back together with Michael?
Smiling. I remember looking across the stage at him, and I said to him, I made it. You know, I made it through one song, you know, going.
This is my current other side. I made it. I'm here. And I'm seeing you.
So I made it through one song. I thought, will I make it through the rest? And of course I did. We had a great time. You know, playing with Michael was a magic moment, I must say. And
I can
with
imagine
the other guys singing as well. It was just incredible. We all shared the stage, from the albums we've been on with Michael. So we all harmonized with each other and whatever, and did our little bit. It was really, really good. And you can't fail with such a good band. I mean, it was well, it was best. It was so good to see him and smiling for a change.
it's truly
what, Bay?
It's truly magic when that stuff happens. I mean, it's something that if people don't ever get to perform, especially if maybe they're not performers and they would love to be, and they live vicariously through others sometimes. But man, when you have that moment like you're talking about, and you're hearing the blends of sounds, like I was watching a video of you guys playing live, and it's sometimes, and I can only imagine at that moment. Do you have an issue? Let me ask you this. Do you have an issue when an emotional moment comes up for you, whatever it is, and getting through that? Or do you have a good technique to make sure you go, zip, can't do that, but I'm feeling it, but I can't do that right now?
Well, it depends on the song, really. I mean, if I'm singing something,
Suffer Me.
Yeah, there's a song there's a song called Suffer Me that I wrote when I was with Alcatraz. I wrote it with Ingve Master one afternoon. I'll never forget that. And I had my guitar and he had his guitar. We were on stage rehearsing for a tour. And I just started tinkling away and he did. And I thought, oh, I like that chord. Oh, it's an E minor seventh. Okay, I've got it. I got flat cup. And so it suddenly dawned on me, what a great family I have. And this song came out of me and it's called Suffer Me. And it's about my mom.
Wow.
It's the cold December day I came. I knew you well, but I was a stranger. That's the first line.
Yes.
And I thought, oh, that's pretty poetic, that. And, that's what I like, to tell a story. Right. And I think that paints a picture straight away. But you were a stranger. Why? What does that mean? Because I was part of her body. You knew me well, And when I sing that, especially at the end, there's a line that goes, and I was born the second son. That always gets me. And I was born the second son. It just chokes me up. Yeah. I just can't make that note sometimes.
I get it.
Because it goes really,
I get it.
High, and it comes out as a, but then because my brother is my hero, and the second son. And my mom said my dad said to Tony, my brother, that morning I was born. It was a winter's day in December, and my dad said to Tony, "Your little brother's up before you are." Oh. And Tony goes, "What?"
Oh man.
So the little brother was, that's it. I remember that my dad telling me that. It was just, chills on my.
Yeah, our moms can, two things about that. Our moms can really bring that out in us. When I was singing, when I first started singing Simple Man by Skinner, it brought my mom up to me, and I was, by the end, I'm just a weeping mess, and I'm turning around to my drummer. I'm like, just give me a second. I'm like, just because I'm like, and
it happens.
I got to really put it out before, so I can do it.
Soul into it, man. And that's sometimes people do that, but it's fake, and you can't fake that. You can't. I start crying, but I don't look as though I am. I don't think my voice will crack or something.
Yes,
I think that's probably what happened with you. Same kind of thing. Just okay, I'm all right now. Yeah.
And that's I've said it to my students at school, because in history there'll be like those guys, they say they're self-made men, and I always stop if I'm watching a video with them. I'll stop it and go, I want you to know one thing: there are no self-made men anywhere, no self-made women. It's never gonna happen. And I said, if there's a guy who says he's a self-made man, you better start talking to his mama, because I don't think she'll be happy to hear him say that. All the whoopings, whatever it took, but getting them out of the womb, that's not a self-made man. You better talk to your mama.
Well, as a mom, I will just say, yeah.
And as a dad, I'll say, yeah. I mean, I had a great family. What can I say? You know, and that's why I wrote songs about them. I wrote one about my brother recently. My brother died of Alzheimer's. Jesus Christ, I can't even talk now. See, it's getting me now. I can't even speak properly.
Yeah.
And I wrote it. It's called "The Beast That Hides in the Shadows."
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
that sounds all like, you know, one of those, but it's not. It's a love song to my brother and to my father. Both of them died from this horrible disease. And my brother was 73. And Bethany saw him in England and you when he was
lovely.
He was such a loving, great person. And he was, you know, a teddy boy back in the 50s. He had the hair and the thing. I always wanted to be like Tony. I wanted to comb my hair back like that and, you know, be like a rocker like he was, you know.
Oh, yeah.
And when he died, it was it was devastating, obviously. And that's when songs come out of you. And that when I wrote the words, I remember going, I can't make this sound like something really, you know, corny and silly and soppy.
Right.
It's not, it can't be like that. So what I did, I told the story of my life with my brother, what we did, and then what happened, you know.
Absolutely.
Beast that hides in the shadows. And my brother was buried in, what was that? What's the coffin made of?
It's not a coffin. He was wrapped in some kind of fiber.
Yeah.
And they bury him and they plant a tree directly. So the roots use him. Yeah. And it was crazy because the first time we saw it, the tree was pretty petite.
Yeah.
And we went back a couple of years later, it had grown so much. And now I can only imagine. We haven't had an opportunity, but we should actually
I've got to go back
build that into.
I went to well, the last time I was there, I went to see him. The branches were just, you know, I hugged the tree. It sounds a bit silly, but I got the tree, you know.
I cried.
Doesn't sound silly at all.
You know,
I planted a tree in my backyard when my mother passed, and she always loved the willow tree that was in the backyard at our house where I grew up. And so I planted a willow tree for her in the back. And I do that. I'll find myself just touching the tree sometimes, and I'm just like, it's for my mom. So,
it's,
you know, a lot of the things that I do now are because of her.
Because of your mom. Yeah.
That right here, right now, this is because of my mom and the sincerity that she had and my dad have. So I learned that from both of them. And, you know, that's what the human part is, you know,
I'm glad for you because we're very lucky to have a good family sometimes. So many kids have been brought up in a horrible way and don't have what we had, you know, the warmth and support my mom and dad gave me, a kid from Skegness, Lincolnshire, this little town on the edge of the water there, that nobody did anything. You know, we're all farmers. Everyone was a farmer or worked in one of the factories. And I left that town and my mom and dad were really worried about me because they knew what I wanted to do, but it actually came to fruition. I didn't think it would. I thought I'm going to fail. I'll be going back. But it didn't. I was just very lucky, wasn't I?
Yeah.
You're very talented.
Well, okay.
Yeah. Well, you know, you mentioned the word lucky earlier. You know, I mean, that's one of my words that I'm like, it's one of the things that we say. We have come up in this world saying we're lucky or, you know, whatever. But I'm like, you know, Graham, you worked your ass off and you had a talent. So when it comes to luck, it's to me, it's always a throwaway word because I'm like, if you look at somebody and say, you know, you did your job and you did it well, and you weren't a complete twat doing it, then if you're in the right spot at the right time and you're being cool about it, you can have two very talented people right next to somebody who makes decisions, right? Or who can hand an opportunity.
Yeah.
And if this guy's acting a twat and this guy is being cool or being businesslike, that's not lucky. They're both there for a reason because they worked their asses off. Just one is allowing the opportunity where the other one's just acting like, Now, not to say that sometimes those people that are going, screw this, aren't getting the opportunities sometimes because that's just what this guy thinks is going to sell. But all in all, it's your hard work. It's still, even if they're acting that way, it's still their hard work that gets them there.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. As I said, I didn't think that anything would happen. I thought we'd be in London for a short time and have to go home because we ran out of food. We didn't have any food or anything. This was 5 of us. And so we're stealing apples from trees and things like that, you know. But it worked out, complete coincidence, that we played in a club called the Revolution Club in London. And in the audience was the Bee Gees' ex-manager. My cousin Trevor, who was in the band with me, used to be in the Bee Gees in Australia. He was a guitar player, singer. And they came over to England before Trevor did. He stayed in Australia for a while, but they came over. Anyway, this ex-manager of the Bee Gees was in the audience and said to my cousin, I think Barry, Robin and Morris would like to see you, and gave him Barry's telephone number. Wow. So Trevor went down next day, saw Barry, and he said, I was talking to Barry about you, Graham. And I said, what? He said, well, I told him that my cousin sings too. So he said, we'll go and meet the boys, the Bee Gees, basically, tomorrow. So that's what we did. And we played and sang everything you can imagine. Wow. And Robert Stigwood was in the house at the time.
Oh, wow.
And he said to Barry, do you have a song for these boys? I think we should record them. So that is complete. Like, what? that would never have happened if that guy hadn't been sitting in a freaking audience, you know?
Right. And you you stepped up and you made the meeting and you had the talent, right? So it was great to have that and to accept those opportunities. I love that when you meet up with somebody, you're like, wow, what a cool situation this is. You know, we had kind of a situation like that last night where we talked with the head chef at the place where we played last night. Yeah. And he's like, we're opening this new place. Yeah. And we're like, and I was just really genuinely cool with him. And I'm like, well, I'm looking forward to seeing if we can play there. He goes, you betcha. I'm like, well, okay. That's great. Because we worked our asses off. We had a great show last night. And that's just the way it goes, right? Good. Yeah. It's the beauty of opportunity.
Isn't it weird, though, how things like that happen? It's like, well, what would have happened if that guy hadn't been there? What would have happened if you didn't have a great night? You know, whatever. What would happen? I don't know.
Exactly.
You now, probably.
That's what's fun. That's the beauty of it, too, is that you remember those things and we talk about them and that you go, what an opportunity. What if?
There's just another word for it. It's not luck. It's serendipity. You know?
Serendipity. That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Because you can name a drink serendipity. Oh, serendipity. It tastes terrific.
Is that serendipity you're drinking now? Yeah, probably.
Yeah, it's just it's lime juice and sparkling water with a little bit of flavor in it.
Oh, okay.
That's our drink of choice. Sparkling water and lime. That's our fave.
Love it. Love it.
So, that's that story.
Now, let me see real quick. And then I don't want to keep you guys too long because you got stuff to figure out with. Now, is Tokyo, you guys are having a trip coming.
Yeah.
Wait, let me check and see if I heard about that. I just checked the weather there while we were talking.
Yeah, we had a bit of a problem with
it's
not the visa, but it's the what's it called?
It's the visa.
Well, it's the visa. Sorry.
It's just a little teeny tiny
hiccup.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't get my
it just
form or something.
Ever since COVID, the method has changed as to how you acquire your visa in Japan because they don't make it easy. It's always been like 3 visits before you get it right. But we have it sort of dialed in because we were just there in June.
Right.
So we delivered the stuff to the consulate, and then the next day, which is funny because we were doing an interview then, I saw something on my phone that was from the consulate, and the consulate was closing in like 15 minutes, and it said, you didn't sign a release of liability, which is just allowing them to use the U.S. mail to send you back your passport and visa, because you used to be able to just pick it up. And I was like, oh God. So I didn't want to screw up the interview. I was trying to do it as like nonchalantly as possible. Like I printed it from my phone, and then I just nipped off and got it, made him sign it. This is during the interview. And then my scanner wasn't working, so I downloaded a scanner app and I sent it off with a little note that said, let me know that you received this. And that's everything went south after that. It was his phone number on the application. So what they called him and he didn't tell me. So,
I forgot about it completely.
Yeah.
Because things were going on and they just slipped my mind, as they say.
I reinstated his British passport, and I'm hoping we're still going to be able to go on that because we won't get his back in time. There's no way.
I'm staying confident that it's going to work just fine.
Yeah,
because it doesn't help to think any other way, right?
Right.
It's like I tell people that all the time. They're like, oh, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you know what? It's just as easy just to go, it's fine. It's going to work. And then if it doesn't, okay. Yeah. It didn't, but why be upset and negative about it in the meantime? You can't do anything about it.
No, I'd like my American passport back again, though.
You'll get it. And,
I feel very unsafe with the British one. So,
I can imagine.
I don't know.
Imagine. Now I wanted first, the other thing I wanted to mention too is, where's the best place for people to take advantage of the things that you've got to offer them, like shirts, merch, music, things like this? I went to the Frontiers site, but you can only get like the European site has more stuff on it than the US site.
Do we have a US site?
Well, there's only the new album.
Frontiers is US site. Okay. For us, we have a Music Glue page.
Yes. And I put that in down below.
And that's in the UK. So, but we're going to probably open like a merch bar in the US as well, and one in the EU just to make things easier.
Yeah.
The merch thing is so important because that's really a huge chunk of income for musicians, but it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah. Well, and that's the reason that I love doing this, because I like to reconnect with, yes, let's face it. Anybody who does what I do, we have a little bit of that selfish about us, that I'm like, I'm talking with Graham Bonnet. It's not like I'm talking with Graham Bonnet. Part of me is like that, but still, but at the same time, though, it's more like, hey, I'm talking with Graham Bonnet. I've always wanted to be able to do that. Like, we're two human beings that would probably have a good time chatting about life and music, or life in music. And so there's an awareness that I get to bring to people out there who's like, whoa, wait, what? Whoa, Graham Bonnet is he's touring too, and so where can I get a shirt? I want to get a shirt. Or what's the latest album? And let me put that up here real quick too, by the way. Is this sorry if I get this incorrect. There it is. Here's the latest release from 2022, Day Out in Nowhere. Yeah. And tell me about this album a little bit.
No. I don't want to.
No, I won't.
I'm kidding, are you? No, you're not bloody kidding, you bloody arsehole. No, I am. Anyway, what a twat. You said twat. I love that. Applause for that. Well, it was a labor of, I guess you'd call it love. Me and Conrad and Bethany got together and got these songs together. I'm very proud of what we've done. And Conrad went out and got a special microphone that I've needed for 1 billion years, something that picks up the sound of your body, the chest sound, and it picks up the power. Because I remember, like, years ago, they would bring in, back in the 60s when I was with my cousin, doing other stuff like the Bee Gees stuff. They would bring in like a bunch of microphones, stand me in front of like 4 or 5 and say, okay, do it on that one, now on that one, now on that. And, it's like, well, maybe that one's the right one. But I always used to say to the producer or the engineer, that doesn't sound like me. Where's the punch? Yeah, I want to hit the punch of the voice, and they never got it. But this microphone, what is it?
It's an Erland, and it's
Erland.
amazing. It's a Swedish company called Erland, and
Yeah, I
it's
can think of the name.
fantastic.
Yeah, and it just picks up you can feel like I'm in the room, sort of thing. And I said, yeah, that sounds like me for a change, because it is hard to pick up volume. I sing very loud, and on stage I sometimes get turned down, because I'm too freaking loud. But
I think I'm like that too.
Hey,
I think I'm like that too.
Yeah, get too But I don't eat the microphone, or try not to, and it's just something. I sing loud, I talk loud, and it's just it's I don't know. Anyway, this microphone is fantastic. We produced this record. It took a while to get all the songs together, but each song tells a story, which I'm very proud of, and they all have. There's no. I'm not talking about Dungeons and Dragons and whips and chains and silver mountains. Sorry, Ronnie. You know what I mean. It's about.
We were just talking about it last night. That's hilarious.
Yeah, well, yeah, the man on the silver. I used to hate singing that song.
I love the way he sang that.
I
bet.
Yeah, but you sang it well.
I like Catch the Rainbow. That's one of my favorites.
I like that too.
Catch the Rainbow and what's the other one?
Kill the King is one of my favorites.
Okay, Stargazer and Catch the Rainbow.
Oh, like. Stargazer.
From the yeah. I used to love singing that. But the songs I make up are always about stuff that's happened to me or happened to somebody else, or an observation of something that happens in the world, And
there's always something saucy on every studio album we've done. There's always something that's a little bit saucy. I'm trying to think what was on the book. I know there was the dance is a little, I think it's beautiful. I didn't tell you this, but I actually was dreaming about that song last night.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, and then he had on Meanwhile Back in the Garage, he had a song called Incest Outcest USA. And that was the song. It wasn't in the USA at all. It was about a town that supposedly, one of the towns near where he grew up, that a lot of incestuous behavior was taking place. And he took me to that town. I was like, ooh, this is a little creepy here.
It's a village.
It's a village.
It's a village, yeah.
Yes, it makes a difference. And then on the recent album, there was a couple of saucy ones, weren't there? Because there was David's Mom, which was sort of a coming of age song, very proggy, but it was about him realizing those feelings that a young boy gets when he looks at a woman. And also the one you do with Rosie, Brave New World, is, about B&D type stuff. Wait, wasn't there another one?
I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Uncle John is about a pedophile.
Uncle John, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Well, that's again.
And we do that in the live set, but he's not honoring him. It's a true story about a teacher at his school.
Yeah.
Wow. And you know what that leads me to think, speaking of England, is the horrible, oh, dear Lord. It was a 2-part show on one of the streaming channels about Jimmy Savile.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, dear Lord. Holy hell. That was.
It's unbelievable.
Whoa. I almost started crying during the second segment.
Yeah.
I mean, and operating with complete impunity, just destroying, lives, leaving a
friend of the royals. I'm like,
yeah, he was a celebrity. Everybody loved him. He met the Queen and blah 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 blah, all that kind of shit. And me and Trevor, talking about my cousin, we saw him in the hallway of the BBC when we were doing Top of the Pops or something. Hello, mate. Are you all right, lads? Are you all right? All that going on. And I thought, what's up with him? There's something very strange about him. And you know what happened? He kept kids prisoner or something or whatever.
Well, he according to the show, they loved him to death because he was making millions of dollars for a lot of in-need hospitals.
Yeah,
and so the government loved him, and all of these people at the top of these businesses and loved him and never questioned anything else. And he'd go into these hospitals where they were full of folks who were handicapped or special needs situations, and he would have his way sometimes. And it was like, and then the one story about a little girl in a church was just while people were there, and And then he was freaking knighted.
I know.
And it's like, so yeah, there's too many questions, but yes, I get what you're saying. So that's what this song, your song was about, obviously somebody
It's
else,
not
but
glorifying it.
No, I wasn't glorifying it at all.
no,
Okay.
it's like Suicide Solution by Ozzy, right?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
You're like, that's not about doing suicide. It's about how, this is talking about watch out for these things, because
Yeah.
that's not the solution.
Yeah.
I'm going to show these real quick. Now, these are the albums that you guys were just talking about. There's the book.
Yeah.
Here's the track listing. Now, you were just mentioning which song? The Dance.
The Dance. It's very pretty. But was there anything else about, maybe
any
not
other sassiness on that record you can see?
No,
right now?
honestly, I've my new contacts. I can't.
No, I know it's tough for me to read, and I'm sitting here looking at it.
Oh my God.
But here, I'll move on. Here's Meanwhile, Back in the Garage.
Yeah.
And that one was let's see, and then here's your live album from the Frontiers Rock Festival in 2016.
Yeah, that was rough. I got to tell you, because in his infinite wisdom, our former manager thought it would be a good idea for us to play on a ferry from Helsinki to Stockholm, get off. And we didn't even go on till 1 o'clock in the morning. We left the boat at around 9. We had to go and do an in-store in Stockholm and then fly to Milan and then get up first thing in the morning. We missed sound check. We didn't even know there was one. And then we had to go and do and so it wasn't, our crowning moment, but I think it turned out okay.
For me, anyway, it was fucking awful. Exhausted.
Oh, we were so tired. It was crazy.
That's rough. It's bad enough when it's just, I don't know. Shows are taxing themselves.
Yeah.
Let alone already being taxed and then having to push through it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, exactly.
Working on a travel day is basically it. It was just like a day that never stopped. There were a few of those, like where he'd say, "Hey, listen, we're playing in Oslo, and then we have to go right to the airport. You can sleep for about 45 minutes, and then we're taking a flight to Greece, and you have a gig that night." And it's like, "Hey, by the way, you're not going to get to sleep." Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was kind of happening with Steelheart. I saw them recently, and I was talking to Mealy, and he was just telling me the whole band was just wiped out.
Yeah.
So, fortunately, they have November off. He's going to be working in the studio and stuff like that. But it's nice, and then they'll be back in December. Like, you have a lot of gigs. You did a lot of gigs in June and July last year, and then you had some. Was it last year also? You did some in the spring, like in March. You did a good grouping.
Yeah.
I don't remember that. We did some over this, not this past summer, the summer before. We were in the UK for Steelhouse Festival.
Okay.
And shows, and then we came back again at the end of the year to the UK and Spain.
Yeah.
And we had a bunch, and those were great. We played with the Dead Daisies, which was super, super fun.
Yeah.
And then we're doing that again, actually, not with the Dead Daisies, but we're going back to the UK and then Spain. Like we always, this time of year, that's our thing.
I'm so glad to hear you say Dead Daisies. We just played some of them last night.
They were really nice guys. Glenn Hughes is so sweet, although he's not performing with them now.
Not with them anymore. John Corabi's back.
My brother from Philly. But Doug Aldrich is, like a friend of ours. We socialize. He's local to LA, and his wife and one of my girlfriends are really good friends. So we always end up at the same party. So
wow,
that's cool.
Well, I'll have to keep in touch with you about him. He's a great guy. I'd love to have him on the show sometime. I had a chance to meet up with him at the NAMM show. Real cool guy.
He's so nice.
Yeah, really cool.
Yeah. I went and met him sort of briefly to have a chat, once in a while when he came over here, didn't he?
I don't think I was here that time he came here.
He's in the car. I was talking to him in the car. Yeah, anyway, I mean, I don't know him really well, but...
we barely saw anybody on the tour because it's just work. It's not
you just
like
do your job and fuck off.
Right.
Now let's go.
But
well,
I come out and watch him play, which was nice.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
Yeah.
I saw him a couple of nights watching us, yeah.
Yeah. Because, I mean, you're so caught up in what you're doing and trying to make sure everything else comes out. You don't have, it's not like, Oh yeah, we toured with him. Yeah, we sat around and talked all the time.
Yeah,
Especially when you got travel time and everybody's traveling differently.
yeah.
And
Oh, very differently.
That
We're
happens when
going in
you
like a G3 and we're
when you're new to the business and you're about 18 years old. That's when you do all that.
yeah.
yes, right.
Which I did. Well, and it was great. Oh yeah, we've got to go out tonight. Are you kidding? After working? Yeah.
Like D. Snyder always said, man, I was pissed off if somebody was telling me they were out partying after a gig. I'm like, yeah, you're not giving it all on the stage if you got time to and energy to go party.
Yeah, we'd have to.
He gets mad at me because I'm so chatty, and he'll be like, "We got to go. We have to go." And I'm trying to wrap my cables, but if I'm anywhere near, where the crowd is, they're going to come talk to me.
Yep.
Do you want to tell him about what you got going on and
What?
Well, your side project.
My what?
Your side project.
Which one?
You only have. What do you have a woman on the side that you know about? I'm talking about the musical one.
Oh, you mean Jeff?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So I've Jeff Loomis is a guitar player.
Yeah.
Yeah, a very good guitar player who I'm working, well, not sort of physically working with right now, but we've been working over the past few months on a new album we're going to do. And what's this?
Oh yeah. Ooh, I don't know if that might be a surprise. Well, no, it's Van Williams because Jeff and Van were in Arch Enemy together. I mean, Nevermore together.
Oh
And,
yeah.
So the three of them have collaborated, and we're getting ready to pull the trigger on it.
Yeah, we have a demo thing we're sending out. Hopefully you get a deal. But I've been working with Jeff for about, I don't know, 6 months or something, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that long. But we've got...
He's great, and they're great together. Oh, my God.
He's very good.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a great player.
Yeah.
About, I think it's 10, I think I've got 10 songs now. And we need another 2 or 3, to make an album. I've written all the words and the melodies for these things. And it's a matter of now getting to the studio and trying to remember all the melodies I've written, because I never record anything. I always keep it in here, because as soon as I hear the chords, I'll go, oh, I know what it is. Yeah, it'll come back. But after I hear the arrangement before, I just don't record. I used to record everything on a cassette machine,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't do that now. There's no need. My memory serves me well, I think.
Well, good.
But it is difficult sometimes. I go, what the fuck? What was the first note on this? So I write down sometimes like the first 2 or 3 notes of the song, and then that reminds me of the rest.
Yep. It's what I call the sonic trigger, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes that'll happen to me live where I'll lose a lyric or something because something doesn't sound right. And then I'm like, what was that? Where was I? What
was I talking about?
Yeah, right. Oh, dear Lord. I do that all the time.
Yeah.
I do way too often. I'm starting to keep track of it here on the show because the worst thing about having a live show is rewatching it. And you're like, oh, dear God, I never went back to that.
Right? Yeah. You went off on a tangent. You never came back.
Yeah. See ya. Thank you.
My favorite story.
Anyway, Jeff Loomis and I've got these. I mean, he's a great player. He's a great guy. And it's really nice to have something to work on. But also, we've got to start doing something, me and Conrad and Bethany.
We will.
And we've got to start soon. I think Conrad's got some stuff up his sleeve. So, we got the band, the GB band to work on for the next album we're going to do.
Yeah, we're finally getting the band that we always wanted as far as the musicianship. Like we have a keyboard player who is just amazing. He's so good. It's so nice to play with like a real keyboard player. Like I've never played with someone like this before, and it's so inspirational. And he's a guy too. And I like looking across the stage. I mean, he always has a wink ready for me and a smile, and it's really nice. And we're taking the kid on drums on this next tour. His name's Kyle Hughes. He's like my daughter's age. He's just a little older than my daughter, and he's a great drummer. He's really, really good. He's fun, and he sings very well. It's a nice tight band. It's good.
Yeah. very pleased to have these guys working with me. I'm lucky.
That's awesome.
Does that work? Do you know Lucky make jeans?
In an hour. In an hour.
Not in an hour, but they're the jeans I buy. And when you undo the zipper, it says, what does it say?
It says you're lucky.
Yeah, it says,
aren't you lucky? Or
aren't you? Yeah, you undo the zipper, it says, aren't you lucky or something? Oh, this is your lucky something.
Something. They're
Yeah.
probably all different.
It's funny.
I'm the lucky one. I get to play with Graham Bonnet.
Yeah.
There's some people that deserve this more than I do, but
No.
I am. But I have to say that I have been pivotal in actually
She's
bringing him back to feeling
no,
the love of the process.
yeah.
That's
She really
great.
did. Yeah.
Yeah.
She brought me back from the dark side. Not that it really was a dark side. I had a candle, but it's you know, it's something that she encouraged me to write songs and get back to playing live, which I hadn't done for a while, really.
I didn't know anything about him when we met. I really didn't. I knew the 2 Rainbow songs. That was it. And he contacted me and he said, I'm always looking for new bands. I thought, oh, the guy from Rainbow, maybe he's producing now. So I sent him links to the 2 bands I was playing with at the time. And that's where it all started. But the more I learned about his rich history, his catalog, I was like, why aren't you mega famous? Why does the entire world not know who you are? And it was just like a little, you know, I don't know. I think it was just a glitch that, you know, the band names were bigger than he and whatever happened. But at the time I met him, he was playing in a version of Alcatraz and he wasn't very inspired. They didn't want to record anything and it was stale for him. So when I invited him on stage to play with, he sat in on a show at the Whiskey with one of my bands. He got off stage that night. He said, I want to be in a band with you. That was cool. That was fun. So the rest is history. I said, yeah, okay, cool. I wasn't taking it seriously. I had 2 little kids. You know, here we are.
Yeah. And it happens that way, you know, where you're like, I remember one night there was a guy, there were some friends of mine that were doing a Leonard Skinner tribute band. And my buddy, I did some promo work for him and he handed the stuff over to a friend of his and we're both standing there and he points at me and he goes, is he in the band? And Mike goes, no. And he goes, you need him in the band. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know about that, but thank you. I mean, just whatever. But when you have an energy, it comes off. And when it's a sincere and genuine energy, then that even is so much better, you know, when people just want you in the band.
Yeah. Well, that's what kind of happened that night where, you know, being on stage together, like, wow, because we had started building this friendship. You know, we weren't dating or anything like that. That actually came well after the band started.
I love that. That's the way it should be.
Well, I know how she got the gig. I'm like, really? Because I made him wait like a year for it.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I know a couple of couples that are like that, you know, where they met at work and they just became friends and they just hung out, went to places. And then all of a sudden, like you said, I don't know how long it was after, but it was a while. I know 2 people that were working together for years.
Yeah.
And one was in a bad relationship. He finally got out of it. And then they started hanging out and they're like, hey, we like this. Let's go a little further with this.
Yeah. Well, with us, I mean, I knew he liked me from the get-go. He made that abundantly clear, but I didn't want to date another musician. I'd already done that. And, you know, I kept him definitely at arm's length. And it was actually my ex-husband who said, why aren't you with him? He's such a nice guy and he loves you. And so we were in London. He brought me along. He was playing basically with a Graham Bonnet tribute band, like a Rainbow tribute band. He just was covering his own band.
Right.
And I came with it. We actually had a blast, but that was me. I started it in London. I did it.
Wow.
And it was nice. You know, there's a picture of us that's circulating where the 2 of us are sitting on chairs facing each other, playing together. And there's a mirror next to us. And you can see what the camera shows, but then you can also see what the mirror shows. And I think that really captured us falling for each other.
Wow.
That one photo. Yeah.
Wow. Well, maybe we could see that photo sometime. That would be
Yeah.
awesome. That'd be awesome. I do have one major. I don't know if I got to ask you this question before, but he and I were just messaging. And speaking of one of the biggest tracks for you, in fact, it even got another boost for the both of you. It just recently in Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is Since You've Been Gone, written by Russ Ballard.
Mm.
Are you and Russ? Do you and Russ, are you friends? Do you?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I've known Russ for years.
That's
And,
what I figured, because I know you've done it in all the different projects.
Yeah. No, he's always there for. I say, have you got anything good for me? I asked him on this album, but he didn't have anything this time because he's going out working now himself. He's playing the road, singing "Since You've Been Gone" and in his own key. I think just me. I'm not sure.
So I was going to say, what key do you do it in?
G.
G. Okay.
The beginning is G, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it modulates to what's it modulate to? A.
Yeah.
Yeah, it goes up to A. Yeah.
Wow.
And it's so funny when you get it's so much easier to sing, and I don't know why that is. It's weird, whatever it is. But that song has been recorded 8 times or something by other people.
Yeah.
And nothing happened. But it came along to Bruce Payne, the manager of Rainbow, and he said, this would be a great song for you to do to get some airplay for Rainbow, because nobody knew who Rainbow was.
Right.
Yeah. So this will make us radio friendly, so to speak. And everyone was going, oh, God, no, you're kidding, aren't you? The version we heard was by a band called Clout, a girl band. And it was so jolly. And, it was like, now, since you've been gone. It was all very, wee. Wee, aren't we? Oh, we're having fun now. Wee. And everybody would go, how can we do this? Anyway, Cozy was so angry about doing it, but I think that came out with the anger. But anyway, we made it. The band itself, the people that play the instruments, made it. They made it special, and really, really did. They really worked on it hard because they wanted to be on the radio more, and that's what happened all over the freaking world. That's alone, and I'm singing it. Be there. Lucky to be there.
He's going to throw me that word all the time now.
Yeah. I was thinking, it's a pure fluke that fucking song became.
Yeah. Because what year was that album? Was that 78?
79.
Yeah, 79. And then because Head East did that as well.
Yeah.
And they had done it in 76 or 74 or 76.
Yeah,
wow.
Some old. Well, Russ did it first, obviously.
Yeah.
And his was like it was all kind of jolly, but it didn't do anything for him,
Yeah.
Until then he joined Argent, of course, later.
Yeah, he's kind of like Jeff Paris is kind of like that.
Yeah.
And Bryan Adams is one of the exceptions where he's written so many songs or co-written so many songs that have become big songs for other people, including War Machine by Kiss. Speaking of which. But he's the one that's really there's been other people that are like that, but that would be an interesting show, wouldn't it? Let's talk about that later. But Jeff Paris, Russ Ballard, Moon Martin, some of these guys who have written songs that they've recorded also, but been big hits by other people. Yeah,
it's funny.
And then like you had done it. Did you do you have a live recording of it with Alcatraz?
I don't know, probably.
Okay, because I was just thinking
with every band you've ever been in.
That's what I'm saying. When it comes to trivia about Graham, it's like, oh, this song, with whom did he record it? I know you recorded with Rainbow. You did it with Impellitteri. And I was thinking there was a live version recorded with Alcatraz, not a studio, I know.
Yeah, I'm sure there is.
Yeah, they did all of Graham. Alcatraz covered almost every hit he's had, whether solo or with bands. And, there's a little trademark battle going on for that name. And, the U.S. portion is happening as we speak. And that's one of the points that we make, is that the band was built around Graham. He should not be denied access to it. If it wasn't, you wouldn't be playing Rainbow and Michael Schenker songs and Night Games, and you know what I mean?
Yes, totally.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
So it was very, very crappy what his former bandmates did. It was very sneaky, underhanded, nefarious, whatever you want to call it.
Sure.
And ultimately, the product didn't merit use of that name. It doesn't sound like Alcatraz. It's not good enough.
Yeah. What are but just also when we need, like I say, I need to let you guys get going too. I mean, it's we're on an hour. I mean, we can probably talk all night. But
No, I'm not wiping my nose.
I thought you were wiping my nose, your nose on my shirt, my nose on yours. Well, yeah.
Anyway, you were saying.
I'm talking about
one thing I really wanted. One thing I really wanted to ask you too was, and I want to stay positive, because these things, you know, these experiences that we have, whether they're good or they're bad. I've had bad band experiences, but really what's at the heart of it, and the reason that we keep doing this music thing, is because there's something about it that's bigger than that. It's bigger than all the issues that we've ever had playing with other bands or doing these other things. So the one thing I was going to ask you is, what is a good thing? What's something good quickly that you can say about your different projects? Let's say, I mean, we could go all the way back to the Marbles, but I mean, I wasn't familiar with that, but the main thing I was familiar with at first was Alcatraz.
Oh yeah.
What's at the, you know, at the nicest thing, you know, not the nicest thing. What is the coolest thing that you think about when you think about that band?
Well, Alcatraz. I think about Hiroshima, Mon Amour, that song, because that was one of the first lyric I came up with. I was looking in the Guinness Book of Records of all things, and it said that when the explosion happened, it was so bright, it was brighter than the sun, and I kind of used that line in the song somewhere.
Yeah.
The fireball that shamed the sun. Yeah, that's the
line. There you go. Right.
Yeah, I mean, that one, I don't like singing it live because it's fucking hard. It's hard to sing live.
Oh yeah.
Oh, bloody hell. But it's one of those songs that if I do sing it live, it's a fucking struggle sometimes. But, you know, I'm admitting that I have limitations. You know, because the way I recorded that was really close to the microphone, and I doubled it, you know, so it's almost falsetto, but not, you know, it wasn't quite full head voice, and that on stage doesn't kind of what can I say, doesn't compute, or doesn't translate. Because you go, you know, you can't, it's not a loud song. It is, but it isn't. But it wouldn't translate to doing it with full voice.
Right.
Doing it with soft voice, that wouldn't work. You know, or, you know, eating the microphone. Anyway.
So, I mean, I could do the math, but you could make it easier on me. What was your age at that time when you were doing that?
Oh, crap. I'll be about
39 or 40.
Yeah, I'll be about 38, 39.
Wow.
Like
yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And when I done that, when I recorded that thing, I said, "Oh, cool, I'm not doing that again." That once through, that'll do. Okay. Oh, but you should double this part. Oh, fuck! Are you kidding me? So it's you know, it's one of those songs that in the studio is great, but sometimes live ain't that good. But I'll give it a try. You know, I always did. You know, so if it was a bit typical on one night, I would duck and dive. You know, I'll go, instead of going there, I'll go somewhere else. You know, the melody a little.
I know I saw an interview with John Bon Jovi
in Japan.
Yeah. I know when I saw an interview with John Bon Jovi, he was mentioning it. Somebody had written he was picking questions off of this mic stand, and one of them was, if you could have done something different, what might it have been? And he goes, well, I'll tell you one thing. One thing I would have done differently, I wouldn't have put that modulation in the end of Living on a Prayer. He goes, that thing kills me live every time. I hate it.
Well, now, the studio, because you can rest or go home and do it next day or whatever the fuck, you know.
Right.
That's all it is. And recording is completely different, as we know. You know.
Yeah.
But
one of my favorite.
The best.
Stories about Heart is when they were recording that self-titled album for the 80s, and they went in and did These Dreams, and Nancy was singing that, and she came in the next day to finish it up, and the producer's like, what's going on? And she's like, what are you talking about? And he goes, you sound different today.
Yeah.
You had that kind of cool, kind of sexy roughness yesterday. She goes, well, I didn't feel good yesterday. I had kind of congestion. And he goes, well, you're going to have to act like that again, because that's going to match what we did yesterday.
Oh, no.
And if you notice, listen to that song very closely. And there's a moment where she almost doesn't make her note, which I'm assuming was the first day, because she almost cracks. It just goes right there. And I'm like, oh, there it is right there. But I always thought that was real interesting. Now with
can be something, identifiable in the song. And I can't wait. I tell you what song, I was never a Joe Cocker fan, but at the end of You Are So Beautiful to Me, you are so beautiful, the end, where it goes, and it all cracks. I was waiting for the end. I never liked the song, but I loved the end bit, because it was so honest. His voice out, he was like, I love that ending.
Yeah.
That's so, isn't it?
I think for a guy,
I love when you croak.
Every woman could assume that he's just weeping when you're doing that. And they're like, oh.
Yeah. But yeah.
And what about Impellitteri?
Huh?
What about Impellitteri? How long did that project last with you in it?
Oh, a couple of weeks. It was about a year, I think, a year and a bit, maybe.
That's kind of what I figured.
Yeah, because I was living in Australia at the time, and I had to go home after I finished that album. I just couldn't take it anymore, being away from home, which was Australia at the time. I lived there for 3 years, and my kids were there, and my ex-wife. I was just like, oh God, another day. And but the song I liked from that album was a song called "Good Night and Goodbye," which was
I love that.
That's my favorite.
Play.
Yeah,
I'm gonna sing.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Hey.
No, he blessed me, which I needed.
Bless you much.
He's been blessing me this entire conversation, but
because you're not lucky to have him, you're blessed to have him.
Exactly.
I'm
gonna make him throw up anytime now. But yeah, that Impellitteri album was really good. I mean, it came along at a time when we had our shredders, Yngwie, we had Greg Howe, we had all Vinnie Moore I was listening to at the time, and Tony McAlpine, just so many of them. The Mike Varney group was just an amazing bunch of players. Marty Friedman, all these guys.
Yeah. Now there's 10 million of them. I mean, you look at Facebook or whatever, you see these little kids of 4 years old going and doing it all. Crazy. It's incredible, because that's what they think music is. It's all this difficult stuff. When I was a lad, it was the Ventures and the Shadows. That was it. So I used to play like that, and of course I did. It wasn't as hard as I thought it was.
Yeah.
But now their role models are those widdly guys. It's incredible. But they're just little kids.
Yeah. Yeah. And a friend of mine pointed me out something very interesting when we played a festival piece together up in my hometown area. And he pointed out to me as one of the bands was playing, and they had this cool hard rock pop kind of, with a pop edge to it. And then they get to the guitar solo and he's like, and you're like, he's like, okay, I mean, he obviously can play, but that's not a melodic solo that goes with this song. So it's kind of a waste.
Yeah. Why are you doing that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Stroke fest. I really hate that. I mean, when I listen to some of the stuff that Yngwie did on that Alcatraz record, he really says something with his playing. Yes, he's wheedling all over the place, but it speaks. But some people, it's just, how many notes can I cram in here? And I don't feel it. And that's the thing I like about Jeff Loomis is even though he's, I feel it again, he is saying something.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. He's very capable from what I've seen on the videos. That's just obvious. And I get what you're saying, because I was watching one of the solos earlier today and I was like, whoa, okay. This guy's got it.
Yeah. It's very melodic, he'll do his widdly bits and suddenly go into like a melody. You go, oh wow, that's lovely.
Yeah, it's great when you can tie it up on one end and the other, and in the meantime, like you say, it just makes sense.
Yeah, that's what he's done all the songs I've been making up with him. There's those parts that come along like, oh, ain't that nice? All of a sudden there's a real sweet bit, and then it's like, back to the honking shit.
Yes, it's exactly what I love about my guitar player as well. It's the I think about it every time we get together and play. I'm like, you're doing things that I didn't even know that I wanted, but when I hear it, I love it.
Yeah.
I'm a very appreciative person. I tell them all the time.
Yeah,
Let's Rainbow. What was and Michael Schenker, the only other two, I guess, that I, because there's plenty of great things that are happening in your own band. I'm sure there's so many things to talk about there too. But in Michael Schenker, what was was the recording of it one of your favorite things, or?
Oh yeah, I mean, I like recording because at the time Cozy Powell was in the band, and Michael, he had a fight, and then suddenly he was out of the band. Then a great drummer comes along, Ted McKenna, rest his soul, but he's not with us anymore. But Ted was on the shows we did later, and I really enjoyed doing that album with Martin Birch, another person that's left us.
Yes, exactly. Yeah,
Martin's a great producer. And we used to have so much fun. You say, come on, Graham, where's your Tom Jones? Come on, a bit more Tom Jones. or whatever. Oh, take your shirt off. Just simple things. And it just made me laugh. And I would do what he said and said, okay, love is like candy, whatever. So he did the bollocks, And it was great fun to make that. I love the song Dancer. That's one of my favorite songs.
Oh, yeah.
Which we sang live when I played with Michael, with everybody. Robin McCauley and Gary.
Oh, good Lord.
Yeah, so they did the harmonies on that, and it was great. It wasn't always great. It was all right. It wasn't bad. But I tell you, I don't think any night went badly with the Michael Schenker Fest, so to speak. It was always so much fun to go out there and sing your heart out and really think about what you're doing.
Yeah. And to share the stage with some of those other great vocalists and be among that, as what, I don't expect you to sit there and go, yes, but I expect me to go, what a great night of music that would have been to see, because you, Robin McCauley, I mean, come on, these are two of my favorite singers right there.
Thank you.
I mean, Robin has done some amazing things with this Black Swan stuff. You've continued to do great things too, and I'm even looking forward to stuff that I haven't heard yet. That's why I'm kind of wondering where I'm going to get your catalog, because I need to get some of the newer things that I don't have yet. So, so I'm looking on Amazon. I got all that. I was looking those up today to see what we've got and all that stuff. So,
all right,
yeah.
You should get if we can get it, the Marbles album back in 1968. Me and my cousin, and the Bee Gees are playing on that album, and we had like full orchestra, like 30-piece orchestra on some of the tracks. But that was something I was really. We didn't finish actually. It's really an album of demos. Well, a couple of them are finished, but there's like I don't know, 4 or 5 that we didn't finish off. My cousin and I. We had to split up as being a duo, and he went to do his own thing, and so did I later. And it just, I'm very proud of that album, because it was really the stepping stone to where I am now, sort of,
Right.
If it wasn't for those, Only One Woman is a song that comes to mind that Barry wrote, and it went into the chart at 3 or something, number 3. in England, and the rest of the world, like #1s or whatever. But it was never released here in America, which pissed me off really, because it would have been perfect.
Yeah, because I'm looking forward to checking it out, and I was reading about it. I'm like, well, now wait a minute.
Yeah, we redid it with Alcatraz on our last album. On the third album, we redid that song, and it's not bad, considering the band was pretty average, including me at the time. Now, we're kind of uninspired, and
Well, yeah,
it was the last album. Everybody had gone. We had Steve Vai, he was gone, and Danny came in. Danny Johnson came in.
Yeah,
it was a different. It wasn't like Alcatraz, the Alcatraz we knew, sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
There's more bluesy and more R&B. So I think it was Wendy Dio who suggested doing the song "Only One Woman" again that I did back in '68. So we did it and changed it a little bit. I put a sort of a woo, I like a choir at the beginning, like there's like a harmony thing, like like a black church thing. You know what I mean?
Oh, the gospel-y thing.
Yeah, something like that. So I put that at the beginning instead of going ooh, which is on the original. But all this, anyway, I said to Richie Podler, was our producer at the time. I said, "Well, can I just try this?" He said, "I sound stupid. You sound ridiculous." Said, but with the harmony, one, two, do a 3-part,
Yeah,
it came out pretty good, and it's it's like gospel,
right?
Gospel music. Yeah, then it goes into it's in 3/4 time as well, and then it goes into the song. But it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad at all. Considering it's a remake.
I'll have to check that out. That does have to be really weird when you're going from one guitar virtuoso into another virtuoso. That's a whole other feel.
Yeah.
It's like when they went from John Sykes to Steve Vai and Whitesnake, and then recorded an album like that. And, and then you're with Steve Vai, and then you're doing a bluesier kind of thing on the next one that doesn't have that same edge to it. Got to be weird.
The second album of Alcatraz is my favorite, the one that Steve played on.
Yes.
My favorite songs, because he's very inventive. And we got on so well together, sometimes didn't have to say anything. Oh, you know what we should do here? Just don't say anything. It was like a psychic thingy, because I would say, you should play. He said, I know. So we always agreed about things for some odd reason. I don't know why, but we just got on so much, just so well together. And an easier album to make, even though it took a lot of thought about some of the songs, because they're more, I don't think progressive, but just a bit more involved than the first album. That was very sort of rainbowish, if you will. Whereas when Steve was in the band, it was totally different.
Yeah,
but had a bit of wiggly in there too. But
would I be because your age? There's an age difference between you and Steve.
Yeah.
Would you say, though, I've met Steve a couple of times, not like we've sat down and had a big, huge talk. I'm looking forward to having him on the show someday. But it seems to me like he's an old soul, where that's where I could see you guys getting along really well in the studio. Not that, because he would come in and you'd be like, well, he's a lot younger, but at the same time, he's got that old soul kind of understanding or respect. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he wanted to try new stuff. He wanted to try different ideas. Don't follow what we did on the first album. Do something different. So I would bring in stuff. I wrote one song, I remember, on the bass. I was playing this bass thing, and I go, oh, that would be a great verse for something. And it turned out to be a song called Will You Be Home Tonight? It was called.
Great song.
So the verse I made up on the bass, he's just a kid that loves to ride, whatever. And it's kind of bluesy. Then it goes into this sweet thing, the chorus. And he just came up with it one afternoon. I was sitting there going, what can we do? What should we do here? And he said, how about these chords? And he goes, dun. I go, yeah, that's it. And it sort of like pulls the song back. And to me, it made that song. I love that song. I think it's really very well written. I really do.
Absolutely. I love those songs. They're great. But all those earlier albums are just they're gems in their own right and will remain a heavy part of rock and roll history for anybody that's heard them. And if you've never heard those early Alcatraz albums, you have got to, because you're missing out. If you like a heavy edge rock, if you like anything that Graham has done that you've heard outside of that, it's some of the greatest stuff he ever recorded, I think.
Oh, thank you. It's very kind of you.
Yeah, well, it's very kind of you to have done those. I mean, for everything that I tell you and you appreciate, I've appreciated it on the front end. So it's just like it's an honor to have you here today and to be able to hang out and do this. I'll ask one last thing and I'll let you guys get to it so you guys can make sure that you're on track. Here's our folks. We had Blake was in here with us today, said he's going to be checking this out and not been feeling good. Saboteur was here with us today, and Ben Compton, good to have you. And this one, that's my nephew.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, good to have him here. We just were watching their dog, Lily, was here for a few days while they were in Florida.
All right.
So, yeah, so now they and the girls are back home. So it's all girls at their house besides him. So it's including the dog. So, but the one thing I wanted to ask you guys together, it's a beautiful way to end this, is what are you looking forward to going into the holidays here?
Well, the tour coming up for sure. It's, it's been a couple of months, so we're itching to hit the road again. But
will you be home for the holidays, or will you be out on the road?
No, we're going to be home for Christmas for sure. We're flying out to go to the UK to start the tour on Thanksgiving. Okay. And then we get back on the 12th, and then we have to gear up for Graham's birthday on the 23rd. I think we're going to have like a little party, although we're having a band Christmas party this year too. So I don't know, maybe it's an excuse to do two, or maybe we all do it in one. I don't know. But
I go for the two.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
I did something for his very first birthday that we spent together. It was so funny. And there was no forethought. I just wanted to do something that was going to make him happy and laugh, because he wasn't with his family. He was just with me. And I made him a really nice dinner. And then I went in the kitchen and I lit the candles. And then I decided, just spur the moment, because he wasn't facing the kitchen, I took all my clothes off and I walked in holding the cake naked. And he laughed so hard. It was perfect.
I'm personally going to put a vote in for that. I think it's better than jumping out of a cake.
Yeah.
You've decided on the better one. There's less mess.
It wasn't that big, so.
That's what she said.
Hopefully that's not what she said.
What she said.
She definitely did not say that.
It wasn't that big. That's what. Yeah.
No, she didn't say that.
Well, she could have said that.
But I know she didn't. I know her. She didn't say that.
I know.
Anyway. Yeah, so Graham Bonnet's birthday on December 23rd. Everybody think about him on that day. And it's also
I'll dedicate a song to you. I play the night before that.
Okay. Oh, that'd be great. Yeah. Make sure somebody films it.
I will do that.
Thank you. Cool. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna do a cool Christmas tune, which is new from last Christmas by Denny and the Great Affairs. That's the Great Affairs had a song called Santa Lost My List and I Didn't Get Shit.
That's a good title.
He talks about all kinds of nostalgic toys that I grew up, checking out, G.I. Joe, Evel Knievel, all this stuff. So that's awesome. Going to be our holiday song.
Yeah, that's good. Sounds like a good idea.
Graham had to sing a Christmas song by George Michael for a Cleopatra recording that he did. And he was just railing against it, going, I can't sing this. Oh my God, I can't sing this. And then when it was done, for like 2 months after that, he kept singing it like it was in his head.
Last Christmas, I gave you my heart.
There you go.
You throw it apart, or whatever it was.
Yeah.
That's it.
Why did he record it?
It was a Wham. It was Wham. It was.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Huge. So, I don't know.
Huge hit.
Made me.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. It was great, but he was really struggling with it. Like, how can I do this? How can I improve upon this? You know,
You can't. Yeah, I had to sing it the same. I can't remember how to sing it. I just sing it pretty much the same way, but with my voice, you know. And it wasn't really. Yeah, that was a weird one.
What's your both of you respectively? What's your favorite rock pop Christmas song?
Oh my God. Well,
I don't know.
it's hard for me to pick one of those, mostly because I didn't grow up with Christmas.
Oh, well, that makes a big difference.
I'm a Jew.
Well, so did Neil Diamond, but he still recorded so many Christmas records.
Well, tons of my peeps did that, but I mean, I literally we didn't listen to songs like that in the house. But if I had to pick one, Santa Baby's kind of cute. You know, I like that.
You go. Yeah.
You know, I've always been able to appreciate Christmas as somebody else's holiday, but it was fun. You know, I was a little jealous. You know,
why were you jealous? You had 8 days. We had 1.
Yeah, but it really we light the candles for 8, but we don't get presents necessarily.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Even with my kids, after like day 5, I'm like, okay, forget it. I can't do this. You know, here, just have them all at once. But.
I think Santa Baby, had a double meaning.
Yeah.
Santa Baby coming down the chimney.
You want it to have that meaning.
Who was it? Eartha Kitt.
Oh, well.
She always sang.
I mean, anything she touched. So
anything.
It's got a double meaning.
I loved her.
She's amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And for me, I would say White Christmas. That song.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. Rosemary Clooney's version is amazing.
Well, that song. No.
Yeah. Yeah. I like Bing Crosby doing it in Holiday Inn was pretty magical.
Yeah. I used to watch it every year in England when I was a kid. Holiday Inn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think Denny was mentioning Do They Know It's Christmas was his favorite. The whole Band-Aid thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I agree. That's one of my favorites. I don't know if it is the favorite, but it's certainly well done. And I asked him, I said, what is that sound do you think that's going on behind David Bowie? That was my big question. Because when he comes on to say hello, it's like and you're like, what is going on with David Bowie right now? Is he like in a I don't know, it's really weird. It's really weird in the middle. Just David Bowie. So it's kind of wild.
Yeah.
But
Lucy made several cameos during
I know it's beautiful. I love it. I would tell everybody to do that.
That's what she's trying to tell us. Is she's like, okay, I'm ready to eat. I know. What time is it? It's not even dinner time. Oh, it's really early. Oh, you know what? This isn't food. This is WALK. Is what she's asking for.
Oh, I get you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She has a really good internal clock.
Miss Soa's with us too now. That's awesome. Well, hey guys, I really, really appreciate you guys taking the time with me today here. It's been a pleasure talking with you. I hope you guys feel the same. And
likewise. Yeah, absolutely, man.
I hope the Tokyo trip goes well. I'm going to stay confident, and I'm going to stay confident that Lucy gets what she wants.
Yeah.
And then when do you guys return?
We're back on the 14th and out again on the 23rd.
Okay. All right. Right after my birthday.
Rehearsals in there, which we desperately need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. Yeah. I get to have a birthday this month on the 21st. So then
nice.
Because I'd love to do an update with you guys whenever you're clear to do that. I know that it's the holidays get busy.
Absolutely, man. No problem.
So wait, are you a Scorpio?
I'm on the cusp, as we would say. Sagittarius, Scorpio. But yeah, some you know how it goes. Some calendars say, "Oh, the Scorpio ends here," and you're like, I don't know. One of them said it ends on my birthday.
I think I'm Scorpio rising.
There you go.
I think that makes me really passionate or something. But
we are passionate. Well, we're bass players.
Yes. We're practically peas in a pod, you and I, separated at birth.
Absolutely. And I would love to have you both on again if you wanted to, or Bethany, if you would like to do a show with me about women in rock, I would love that.
Oh,
Because you know what still pisses me off? Anytime I see an interview with Hart and they talk about how tough it was, and just not in a weepy how tough it was, but they're just like, I can't believe this. Why it was like this.
there's
You
a
know,
lot of misogyny to this day, but
yes.
I really love like the millennial girl players are like, fuck it. You know, I don't care what you think.
And they shouldn't.
And they're not good for a girl. They're good. They're just good players. I saw this one girl bass player. I don't know who it was. She was so badass. And she wasn't doing anything like, she wasn't inventing something new, but what she was doing it very well. And she just looked great, you know?
Because that's the passion, right?
Exactly. A lot of great girl players. And every time I see a young woman just, you know, owning it, it just makes me feel good, because I didn't have that experience. I got, you know, because I've been doing this for about 35 years off and on, you know, I got married, I had kids and things like that. But just more recently, the experience I had with some former band members and management, I was treated appallingly, you know.
I can imagine.
God. My dog is, you can't see her, but she's literally she just burped right next to your face.
I heard,
you heard it?
I did.
You gonna take her with me?
Yeah, I'll take her.
Okay.
That was awesome. It's like, if I don't walk soon, I'm just, you know, you want to go now?
Bothering her. And we're very fortunate that she's more of a belchy type and not a farty dog. But she'll come running in the room, and you see she comes up and gets right in my face, and she'll go, and it's like Kibbleville, you know? She does it every day. She just wants to share.
Right. I'm feeling something. What do you think?
And it sounds like a human when she does it.
Right? Right? I figured maybe Graham was burping in the background.
No, Graham's not the burpy type. He's the aforementioned Tootie type. No.
Well, we definitely will have to do a show like that, because there's the one thing I've always said is I don't understand where I do understand where the guys were coming from. They were being freaking twats, but I get that. And the misogyny, I get that. But at the same time, you're like, come on, you're not fooling anybody. All these women have 10 gallons more passion than we do. So why wouldn't you think that they can pull this off and kill it?
Yeah.
Why would you have to put somebody down saying they can't do it? Women can't rock. You know what, dude? Half of the guys that were saying that can't do shit with an instrument anyway.
Right.
They're just running a business where they feel like they have to act a twat.
Yeah. It's stupid. It's just stupid.
It is stupid. Because, I mean, there's women out there that have proven it time after time. Scorpions. I'm always praising Scorpions recently because they took Thunder Mother out on the road. What a great band that is.
I don't know if I've actually heard them, but I've seen.
Do yourself a favor. It's fun, great, killer, kick-ass stuff. And I've been listening to Burning Witches recently. Killer European group. Doing what they're doing. The Amorettes from the UK.
Oh, we played with them, and they are great.
Wow.
We did a festival with them, and they were so adorable. You know, I just say that because I'm significantly older than they are. Right. But yeah, they were really cute, and they were good.
Yes. And then out of Japan, you've got Bandmade. You know, talk about a cool bass line. I can listen to their song Thrill every day and not get sick of it.
I have to go check them out. Wow.
Yeah, listen to Thrill straight. First thing you do, listen to Thrill by Bandmade, and all-female Japanese band, killer.
Yeah,
killer.
My girlfriend Delphine, who's half Japanese and half French, I had dinner with her. This was years ago, and she had these girls in an all-girl band, and the bass player, I couldn't believe she had the balls to do it, but she literally came out on stage naked. She just played the gig naked. They were more like, an art kind of arty type band. And she just, and I'm like, oh, wow, I could not do that.
Yeah, you gotta watch the room that you do that in. Cause there's, cause
I did half of that.
Yeah. Graham can take it out. Why can't I?
Yeah, I did the bottom half.
I dress like a
I know, right?
the first girl band I was in, it was called Hardly Dangerous. And my best girlfriend, she's still my best girlfriend. She's actually the widow of James Brown.
Oh,
And
wow.
we would just dress like hookers on stage. And it was great. Walking the Sunset Strip. I had a guy, I was in like a grocery store buying some food before a gig. So I was in my gear.
Yeah.
He was in front of me and he turned and he said, "How much for you?" And I said, "Dude, I'm grocery shopping right now. I'm not street walking. I just am wearing the same clothes, you know."
Like Rockstar with Mark Wahlberg. I'm in a band. Is that mascara? I'm in a band.
Yeah.
Can we just do the simple 1, 2, 3? Stop sticking a pen in it, okay? Saboteur's loving seeing the dog.
What's
That's
that?
great.
Oh, good.
Fine looking dog. Yeah, we got a good crew that loves to hang out and see the show and throw down. This one we don't have so many today because this was a quick last minute thing.
Right.
But yeah, they're a great group. So when we have a more solid thing for the next time, we'll do that. We'll do that.
When we get back, we've got nothing other than relaxation for the end of the year into January. We're chilling.
Well, fantastic. Well, if you guys want to hang for just a second, we'll go ahead and close down the show. We'll say goodnight to everybody, and then we will we'll see you guys soon. And then I'll talk with you guys for just a minute, and we'll move on with our day. But everybody, thank you for showing up. To everybody who's going to watch this later, I hope you enjoyed yourselves because this was a great show, if I can say so. We got great talks. I love the stories, man. It's about the world.
I swung it.
No question. No question. When your zipper's out, swing it.
Yeah.
It's not an easy thing, but it's not that hard either. Well, now, wait a minute.
Not that hard. Yeah, that's what she said. No, wait a minute.
Yeah, that's what she said.
That is what she said.
So from the the four of us, I forgot about Lucy. From the four of us, thanks everybody for joining, and we will see you next time. I'll be in on Wednesday with Claudia Rose. Also, we'll be doing these UK check-ins with the Midnight Devils. So stick with me on those, and I'll be posting that. And I'm looking forward to seeing what they have to do, have to tell me about next. And everybody, take it easy. Remember, when you step out of your house, you're in everybody else's world. They're not in yours. So be cool and take it easy.
I like that.